All right, boys, we're back at it. Is it episode 4 or 5?
I don't know. Doesn't
I
matter.
think it's episode 4. Episode 4, High Low Podcast. We've been away for a while, but we're back at it. We got a special guest today. Special guest, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jonathan. I'm a big LeBron hater, so it's going to be a nice debate with Cole today. Thanks for having me, boys.
God damn
Yeah.
it, Cole.
Jim, great intro. Anyway, Cole, who has brought his own special guest, his keyboard, is here. Do you want to introduce yourself, Cole?
What's going on, everybody? It's Cole coming to you live from T Dot. Not really. I'm in Stouffville, but sometimes we gotta leave T Dot.
And finally, our host, Artin. Artin, you want to say hi?
Yeah, what's up? I mean, you're kind of the host more than I am. I'm more like the
No, I'm
moderator.
just the smartest one and the one with the best
You're not the
takes. But
smartest one.
Anyway, before we get into that, today we're going to do a few things. We're going to talk about a little recap of the finals, nothing crazy. Talk a little bit about free agency, and then rank the 10 best teams post free agency. So let's start with the finals. So if you've been living under a rock, or I don't know, the Raptors beat the Warriors in 6 games in the finals. Kawhi Leonard was Finals MVP. A honor so high that he decided to leave. I guess Jim and Arden are more Raptors fans, so I'll let you guys take the floor on this one. And what do you guys want to say? You guys want to brag? You guys want to cry? That's never going to happen for another
Jim and I watched every game together because we're true
Yeah,
Raptors
you know what?
fans.
This is a one in a. This was like a 1 in 20 years, 30 years. Unless they get another player like Kawhi again, I don't see this happening for a long time. But I guess you got to enjoy it and just take it in. And you know what? They still have the depth on the team. Next year is going to be, it'll be okay. But I don't know. Once they get rid of Lowry, Gasol, and Ibaka's contracts and let Masai do his work, I think they'll be okay. If they lost Masai, it would have been back to the Ani years. But I'm not too worried now that they kept Masai.
I don't think Masai was ever gonna leave. I think it was just all talk from like other places, and I don't think he ever really thought about leaving. When it comes to the finals, it feels good to dismantle the Warriors.
A report came out that the Wizards did not offer him a piece of ownership. It was a rumor.
So yeah, it was all talk. But I mean,
sort of $10 million a year. $10 million a year, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. The Raptors could match that. They would.
Man, what a good playoff run. Like starting from that first loss to Orlando, everyone was just like, "Oh yeah, Raptors are done."
I went to live.
What?
That's the only game I went to live was the Orlando game.
Really?
And they got smoked.
I went to game 2 against Philly and they lost.
I went to game 5 against Philly.
DJ Augustin put like 30 points that game.
DJ Augustin was crazy. I remember they shot 48% from 3, and I was like, how are people gonna say the Raptors are screwed? They're not shooting 48% from 3 anymore. But the point is, it started like that, and everyone just pretty much wrote us off right away, and then we slapped them.
I saw a tweet today that it was like from 2017, so around 2 years ago, November 2017. And it was a picture of Kyrie hitting the shot over Steph in 2016 with Fred VanVleet's face photoshopped on.
I saw that, yeah.
Was if the Raptors ever make the finals, and it came true, man. So, thank that guy.
Man, Philly series, Kawhi, is that like one of the top 5 single-player playoff series of all time?
No, but it's really close.
No, for even how he finished it, the Game 7 winner, you have to put it in there. And the fact that he had no help from any of his teammates, like literally anybody, except for Siakam until Siakam got hurt. I don't know. I would put it in there. He wasn't missing.
He was nuts, but there's been like I would say there have been series by guys before that were just as, if not more, impressive. But if you want to put it in there, I wouldn't be mad. Like
the Bucks series, felt the best to me as a Raptors fan. Because it was just like
Because they finally barrier.
you just like they were so confident and like rightfully so, but they were so like they felt so good about themselves. And
For
then we just
Kawhi's
fucking dipped them.
mentality. Like the fact that they were down 2-0 and then every win from there on out, including the finals, like they didn't celebrate. Even after they won game against the Bucks, like they weren't going crazy. They just had a job to do. They literally took over the Kawhi mentality. And in years past, you see with DeMar.
And you know what? It's not even just the
Kawhi-
Kawhi mentality. It's like you've got all these old guys. Like Gasol is old, Lowry's
Yeah, I was gonna
old,
say.
Ibaka's a
Ibaka.
veteran. These guys know, man. Like this is it. This is their last chance. Making the finals isn't enough.
Guys, the young guys weren't going crazy. The young guys weren't, you know what I mean? Like Van Fleet,
Yeah, but they,
You know what
they
I mean?
kind of
Like
adopted that mentality. But I think Arden's right, where a lot of those guys, given what the like unstable, I guess, the unstable situation with Kawhi and the fact that they were all at the end of their careers, I think a lot of why the team mentality turned to that was because a lot of those guys realized if I'm gonna win this title, I'm gonna probably like it's gonna be now. I think honestly, like if you look at a guy like Marc Gasol, like that might be the difference between making the Hall of Fame and not making the Hall of Fame, right?
100%. I think he's a Hall of Fame player now, most likely.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, he didn't have a great series, but it was
Who?
the mental toughness. Marc Gasol,
Hall of Fame.
bro. Everybody in the
What are his
NBA,
accolades?
What are his
makes-
accolades?
he's
Defensive Player of the
been like
Year.
he's like a 4 or 5 time All Star. He's a defensive player of the year. He's been All NBA twice and All NBA 13
And he's got
twice,
a ring
and
on
he
his
can't be-
finger.
Yeah, but also
What-
it's the
aren't there
NBA Hall of Fame.
specific like guidelines you need to get into the
No.
Hall of Fame?
No.
There
Oh,
isn't.
the NBA
Bro,
Hall of
people
Fame
are talking
by far
about
the
Iggy
It's
as
just
the
like a
Hall of
committee,
Fame,
right?
yeah.
It's just a
People
committee.
are talking about Iggy as a Hall of Famer, man. Like it's so
That
easy to
pisses
get
me
I
into.
don't
off.
like
That pisses me
Iggy as a
off.
Hall of Famer, man.
It would bother me if I didn't know that literally anyone who is like good at one point would be in the Hall of Fame in the NBA. It's super easy to get in.
I don't
so
even
don't
really
see a
like
problem.
Marc Gasol. Pau Gasol, sure. Marc Gasol in the Hall of Fame. I don't know.
I'm kind
I
of with you,
could
Cole.
say-
It's
I
it's
could see
iffy,
it.
but like Iggy is worse. Hasn't he only been an All-Star once?
Yeah,
Like
but
that's
it's
not
like
okay, man. You can't have a one-time All-Star in the Hall of
his
Fame.
Finals MVP is his claim to the Hall of Fame.
But you know what? On the other
Basically.
hand, I would say Lou Will has a Hall of Fame like potential, and that
I
kind of
think
goes
honestly,
against what I
Lou
just
Will-
said. So.
You look at the accolades. Look, he's probably over 20 points over his career. What does he have? 5, 6 man of the year awards.
3.
He has
3.
about 16, I think.
If he plays the next couple of years the way he's
Like, he's
playing,
honestly-
and he
I'd say
wins
he's
a
a-
chip,
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
if
a
he
ring
wins
away.
a chip, it's done.
Yeah,
He's a ring away.
for
I'd say.
sure. Anyway, we got to get back on track, but yeah. So Raptors fans, big Raptors guys. Where do you guys go from here?
Resign Chris Bosh.
Resign Chris Bosh. Well, it looks
Is
like
it a
looks
full
like they're
rebuild,
getting
or
ready
do you
for
gotta compete?
It looks like they're getting ready for the 2021 free agency.
I was talking to you about this, Mike, a couple days ago. I could fully see Giannis being in a Raptors jersey by 2020 or 2021. That's what I think Masai is playing for.
Yeah, I could see Kim Kardashian in my bed too. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen, bro.
No, but if anyone can pull it off, it's Masai, man. Just getting rid of those older contracts, and
Well, they all come off
it
the
already
books
looks
next
really
year.
good. And then
The
he's
Raptors
gonna
have $80
re-sign
million cap space
Siakam.
next year, or they'll have $50 million after they re-sign Siakam. The one reason that I think that Giannis will consider Toronto, I don't know if he'll pick them. The one reason that he might consider them is because Masai Ujiri, I learned this the other day, got Giannis's family their visas to be able to live in the States.
Oh, really?
He was the
I
one who
heard that.
facilitated.
Yeah, I've heard that.
That
has a relationship
that
with
makes
Giannis.
sense to me. But at the end of the day, I feel like if Giannis leaves Milwaukee, like I could see him only going somewhere where he knew he was going to run up championships. And I don't know if
Masai
that's
builds another good team. If Masai builds another good team and Giannis is like one of the final pieces, why wouldn't he pick it?
I mean,
We'll have to see.
Giannis needs to develop, right? Because
Yeah,
that's what he had this
Why you
year.
go get him. He's top 5 or 6 in the league at 24. Like he's an ISO. He's 2 or 3 ISO moves away from being like a top 3 player. So you go get him.
If he learns how to hit the contested speed, then it's pretty much over for everyone.
I don't even think he needs to know how to hit a contested 3. I think he needs to be able to go to the rim and step back or hit a hesitation jump shot.
I think he just needs a mid range, man.
Yeah, the mid range is way more important.
The 3-point shot's pretty vital now, man.
Yeah, but
like the best players,
your stars have to hit mid range shots. That's
the
what
best
it is.
players can hit threes, but like Kawhi's doing all his work in the mid range.
Like like think about all the best scorers in the league, man. Kyrie, KD, Kawhi, all those guys have mid range games. You need a mid range game because that's where you go to like where you can really move into a jump shot. Like Curry is kind of like and Curry has a mid range game. He just doesn't need to use it because he's so good.
He's a killer mid range game.
Yeah, he's just so good at the 3 that if he doesn't take a 3, then it's like a waste.
Like if Steph
Curry mid range is basically a guaranteed bucket.
If Steph Curry was like really good, but not like Steph Curry good at shooting, he would be known as like a 3-level scorer. He's just so good at shooting threes that there's no point. Like even James Harden doesn't use it anymore for some reason, but he had a decent mid range game before D'Antoni got there. Like these scorers all can score from the mid range. Giannis needs that
because that's probably where it's easiest to create your own shot.
It is.
But guys, even if you look in this last playoff run, how many times did Kawhi hit a dagger or a vital 3 in someone's face when he needed it? Like,
yeah, the 3 is super important. But if we're talking about Giannis and what his priorities should be,
it's being able to hit a wide open 3 off a kick out, and then it's hit it. Like I would, if I'm Giannis, I'm not worried about shooting like Steph Curry from 35 feet. I'm worried about shooting like KD from 15.
I'm not saying shooting like Steph, but like he doesn't have it at all.
You gotta work.
He can only hit threes that are wide open. Like even just off the top of my head, against Golden State, against Milwaukee, and Philly, Milwaukee, Golden State, in games 5 and 6 in each of the series, Kawhi hit at least 1 to 2 like very important 3-point contested shots or in transition.
He also didn't shoot very well from 3 like after the Orlando series. And he still was scoring 30 points a game.
I know, but he hit them in dire moments that shots that Giannis doesn't even have in his arsenal right now. Like Giannis before couldn't even was Ben Simmons where he couldn't even attempt a 3, and then by the Raptors series he was hitting open 3s. Like he had a few of them, but like he literally doesn't have 0%. He has 0% chance of hitting a contested 3 right now.
But what I'm thinking is he gets into more trouble because he doesn't have a mid range than because he can't shoot a 3. Yeah. Like when the Raptors packed him in like around the mid range, he easily the guy's 7 feet. He could have just rose up and taken a mid range, except he probably would have airballed it. He could have completely ruined the Raptors' defensive strategy if he had a mid range.
Exactly.
No, you're sure, but I think in 2 years though, by the time he becomes a free agent, he'll probably learn it.
He could definitely learn it, and he's got like the closest thing we've seen to the Mamba mentality. So
for sure, even though I think Kawhi has that, he's just
I think Kawhi has Mamba mentality. He's just not as showy.
Anyway, let's move on to the second part of this. This is free agency. So I want each of you guys to give me a winner and a loser in free agency. And the trades that surrounded it, obviously. You can't go to, none of you guys can name the same people, though. Same team, sorry. Artin, who's your winner, who's your loser?
My winner is Houston because literally, a couple hours ago, they got rid of Chris Paul's contract, which is, the most magical thing I've seen in a long time. Getting rid of that contract. Taking on.
Worse than getting Russell Westbrook's.
My loser is Houston.
I would
Do you understand that when Russell Westbrook's contract is up, he'll be the age Chris Paul was when he signed this new contract? There's bad contracts, and then there's giving a mid-30s guy $160 million. That's like Wiggins level bad.
What was
Russell
what was
Westbrook is
Chris
like
Paul's contract?
It was ridiculous.
it was 4 years, 160.
How
he
old is he
signed it
now?
last
How old
year.
is he now?
He's 35,
So what is he, like 37 when it's done?
38.
Oh my god.
I'm looking
It's
on
one
the
of the worst
ESPN
contracts in
website.
sports.
ESPN already has Russell Westbrook on the Rockets.
Yeah, because they did the trade. That's how they work.
But they updated it so fast. That's pretty cool.
It was a couple
Almost like
hours
they have
ago.
hundreds of employees working for them. All right, here's your loser in free.
35 million he's getting paid. Oh my god.
Yeah, dude, he's so old and he's making so much money, man. Like, it's ridiculous.
Can you get Artin? I need a loser. I need a loser in free agency.
My loser is Brooklyn because they signed the worst player in the league, Kyrie Irving.
Oh, come on.
The cancer. Yo, I call him the Illuminati Julian Newman.
No, obviously I'm joking, but also like people were nonstop talking about the culture in Brooklyn, and he's not gonna help that.
Yeah.
You know what, though?
All right, Cole.
Honestly,
We'll talk about the Nets later, obviously, but Cole, give me a winner and a loser in free agency.
I'll just say the winner. My winner is the LA Lakers.
What?
They made the trade. They made the trade for Anthony Davis. They signed a great 3-and-D player in Danny Green. They signed Boogie Cousins for very cheap, which is probably what he's worth right now, given his quad tear in the Achilles. But he said he's losing weight. He's on track. His quad's better.
He did look slimmer in the interview today.
He did. I noticed that. So whatever he adds on is extra. Apparently, you guys know there's reports that OKC is gonna buy Chris Paul out and he's gonna be working things out maybe with LA. A little bit behind the scenes thing going on. So if they get Chris Paul, that's huge. I don't think that puts them over the top to a championship level team, but that definitely that's your starting point guard for sure.
What about? Weren't you excited for LeBron to be point?
Yeah, I was, and then I realized that's probably not going to happen. That's just talk.
That should happen though.
Yeah, he'd be great.
Not really. The dude's in year 17. You're gonna force him into a position that
he's gonna play point guard anyway. Exactly. You might as well just go with a giant lineup.
No, just keep him at small. You don't need a giant lineup though. You don't need one.
But you can have a better starting lineup if he plays point. You have more room for Boogie.
You can play
and AD
Avery
and
Bradley
Kuz.
at the 2. You can play Avery Bradley at the 2, Danny Green at the 3, Kuzma at the 4, AD at the 5. That's the best possible lineup if Avery Bradley comes back.
You could just stick Avery Bradley at the 1. It
Why
doesn't
would
really
you put Avery Bradley at the 1?
But then LeBron is essentially
it doesn't really matter. I'm just
right. Anyway, who's your loser?
My loser, Marcus said the Rockets, so I'll just say Golden State. I don't think
I said
they made the best out of their situation. Well, he said he was choosing the Rockets. They made the best of the situation, but if they keep D'Angelo Russell, I firmly believe he will not work in their system, and he's not that type of player. He averaged oversaturate. What's the word for it? He stuffed the stat board on a Brooklyn Nets team that was okay, but where he would dominated the ball usage. So I don't think he'll work in that system. He's not like a run and gun type. He's like an ISO slow ball, bring it through pick and roll type player.
Honestly, I like D'Lo, but after seeing my son Benjamin Simmons lock him up in solitary confinement for 5 games, I don't believe in him as much anymore. Anyway, Jimothy, can you give me a winner and a loser?
Sure. So for the winner, and I honestly don't think it's close, you got to give it to the Clippers. That might be, besides KD going to Golden State, the biggest heist job in NBA history. And Kawhi had won. I know they gave up
a couple pieces.
Bigger than DeLon Wright going to Dallas?
I know they gave up literally their entire future, but if you get Kawhi and Paul George, you already have, and you're only giving
good
up
team.
Who was it? Gallinari and
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah, they're good players, but
from Hamilton, Ontario, I just want to add.
You're basically giving those 2 up and draft picks that you late don't know are going to pan out for Kawhi and Paul George. Like, the two most efficient players in the league right now, our level. Like, you can't really beat that. And you put that together with Pat Beverly.
And?
Put that with oh, sorry, I thought you were asking something. You put that with Pat Beverly, Montrezl Harrell, Michael Green, like Mo Harkless too, who's a great 3D player. Like, and I don't know. The Lakers, like, I have to give it to them. I love seeing LeBron get dicked by Kawhi. I can't call them losers. Because they did make some good stuff. Like Avery Bradley, like, those are good signings, but
great signings.
I don't know. I just feel like that locker room is going to be so hectic. Like how everyone on the Clippers right now are like quiet leaders who hustle. Like, there's no bullshit on that team.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really worry about drama in the LeBron locker rooms because there's drama in all of them, and they've won 3 times, which is more than everybody. But Pat McCaw, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Iggy, and Sean Livingston in the NBA right now. So, but yeah, what your losers is Houston then, yeah.
I like, unless I'm proven wrong, and I don't know. I like James Harden, but the guy, like, he hasn't shown it in the playoffs. He's like, this year was the year to carry the whole team during the regular season. But if you couldn't beat effort against Golden State without, what is Russell Westbrook really going to do for you? I know Chris Paul had a bad year, but dude, like, Russell Westbrook can't. This is just not going to work.
I'm guessing James Harden will move back to the 2 like full time now.
James Harden?
Yeah. I think James Harden's going to move back to the 2 full time.
Unless Russell Westbrook does a complete turn in his career, but like, if he couldn't make it work with Paul George, who's literally like a little bit worse than Kawhi, he could work with James Harden.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting out there, but Daryl Morey has been known to just shoot, so who knows? As for me, my winner is the boys out in Philly, man. Shout out to them. We had one big loss, shout out to Jimmy. I hope he's living his best. That man was homeless, living on the street, and now he's in Miami chilling with a lot of very pretty women and nice weather. He deserves it, but we replaced him with one of the best power forwards in the league and an elite 3-and-D player, like at the highest level of 3-and-D before you get to the stars, obviously. And we got a couple nice little young pieces on the bench. We got Mike Scott, who shoots better than Clay. Don't at me. We're going to be good. My losers are the Toronto Raptors because they lost the best player in the league. I don't think that's that big of a deal. It's not really their fault they lost, but they lost. That's no shade to you guys.
They kept Patty McCaw.
Yeah, that's a huge move.
That launches our title odds.
Wait, is Jeremy Lin still a Raptor?
I think he's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
Oh, okay, so I don't know. I'll be able to win without him. They gained a strange large following east of Toronto very quickly.
Also, there's a chance that Lowry just gets fat again because he doesn't care anymore because he got his ring.
Bro, honestly, he might just retire and just go to McDonald's and never come back.
He could fully come back just like fat.
He's gonna play this next year, and I will not be surprised at all if he retires.
I think he's gonna get traded to the Clippers, but
he's just gonna suck all the money he can out of the NBA.
I don't think but the Clippers have nothing to trade, bro. Who are they gonna trade?
They'll trade Landry Shamet, who is a young shooter that matches more with the Raptors' rebuilding timeline. The Clippers have the ball. Their best playmaker is Paul George. That's not a good thing. They need a point guard. Anyway.
Man,
you know what? I think Masai's plan is to like build up Siakam, get some decent young players. He signed a bunch of like 22-year-old undrafted guys, and then he's gonna try and pair them with someone in the 2021 free agency. And he's
gonna go after a superstar for sure, and he'll get one. He's smart. The guy's.
But yeah, as of now, I don't doubt Masai's plan because Masai's plan is always he always seems to be a little bit. He's like farther ahead than everyone but Jerry West, it seems. But as for now, the Raptors are the losers of free agency. Maybe not next year or the year after, but I think
it's hard to win when Kawhi does just like never plans on staying.
Apparently he wanted to, but Uncle Dennis said, "Nah,
Bro,
yo,
Uncle Dennis sounds like a real prick, man.
he's a hustler, baby." Anyway, let's move on to
Although I think he was going to sign with the Lakers.
who?
Kawhi was ever planning to sign with the Lakers. I just saw this now, but Danny Green said that too. Like, I think it was literally just to make noise because he knew they were going to leak all the shit so that he can make the Paul George trade, like,
I think
I
there was probably some thought, but I think they were always in third.
want to play with LeBron. He said that in San Antonio.
Kawhi
He wanted
fucked
his
San
own
Antonio.
team.
Kawhi fucked Toronto. Kawhi fucked the Lakers. In 2
He
years,
fucked San Antonio and Toronto by winning them championships.
No,
Yep,
fucking
big fuck.
Toronto. Fucking Toronto would be if he didn't even play in the first place, because that's what everyone was saying when he first got traded, that he had no interest in being here. But he still played, and clearly he had no interest in being here because he just left.
Well,
And this guy fully texted Lowry too, being like, "Listen, I know you're pissed off. I'm pissed off, but let's just make this work and win." And they
Yeah,
did.
like he fully
We
was
became boys
like,
in the meantime.
he could have taken the season off, but he fucking won us a title. So
There's 100% in that. If you compare that in the NFL, Carson Palmer was on the Bengals for a long time. He said, "Fuck this." He didn't play for an entire year because he didn't want to play for them.
yeah,
He's a way better player than Carson Palmer.
But anyway, so I just want to, before we go to our next segment, our final segment, my boy Woj, I knew him in elementary school actually. He said that Miami remains a possibility for Chris Paul.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that. I forgot.
I can see that with Jimmy.
Oh man, that's gonna be quite the time with them too. Anyway, let's move on to our last segment. We're going to talk about, I want you guys to give me a top 10 list of the 10 best teams going into the league post free agency or big off-season moves. There'll be some stuff that moves around, but I don't think enough to change anything unless there's some crazy thing that happens. Like, I think everything's about set with the big pieces. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go around the proverbial table. And I'm going to name, okay, who's number 10 for you, who's number 10 for you, whatever. And we're going to go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want you guys to give a quick explanation for why for the earlier ones, and then we'll discuss a little bit later after.
How about 5?
Right. Let's not. Okay, how about we'll do this? Give me just the names for the first, for 10 through 6, and then give me an explanation for 5 through 1.
Okay, how about you guys do that, and then I just do 5 because 10 was too hard.
I don't think Cole has a list either, so this will be fun.
I will give you a list right now.
Honestly, mine's kind of just like raw. It doesn't matter. Like, it's kind of like,
yeah, like I would
from 10 till 5, you can literally mix them up. It doesn't pretty much all the.
I agree. Okay, so before we go, I just have honorable mentions because these are the ones I almost put at 10. Spurs and the Kings and the Pacers. I thought they might be number 10. I really like the Kings. I don't know if they're going to be as good as I think they are. I just love De'Aaron Fox. I think Buddy Hield's great. I think Harry Giles could end up being really, really good.
I like the Pacers. Malcolm Brogdon with a healthy.
I just don't know what Ole's saying right now. Like, is he going to come back the same since he was so athletically driven? But who knows?
I don't know. I would hope so. I think he will.
All right. So who has a 10? Who has a 10th team?
I have like 5 East, 5 West.
See, I have
go 10.
7 of my top 10 are Western teams.
Pretty much Western for me too.
Yeah, no, but I mean that's how I did it. Is 5 East, 5 West.
Oh, okay, so then you do it your way, and then we'll do it our way. So who's your 10? Between the 2 5th place teams, who's
my
the 10?
10 is the Toronto Raptors.
Okay, Cole, who's your 10?
My 10 is the Boston Celtics.
My 10 is also the Boston Celtics. Jimmy, what's your 10?
Portland.
Okay. Artin, what's your 9?
Someone else go first.
Okay. Cole, what's your 9?
Ooh. I'm going to go with Portland, I think.
Okay, Jim, what's your 9?
This is tough. I think I'm going to go with Brooklyn.
Without we're
KD,
presuming
KD
without
was
KD?
Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, dude, they have a very good young core. They have
Okay.
Jordan
Okay.
too.
Okay. I
Kyrie,
see it. My 9, even though I made this list 6 hours ago, I'll hold to it. My 9's the Rockets.
My 9 is also the Rockets, but that's basically my West 5.
Okay. Who's your 8, Arden? East 4 or West 4, whichever one's better, worse between the two.
My East 4 is Indiana.
Cole, who's your 8?
I'll go Houston.
Okay. Jim, who's your 8?
I'd probably go with. I'd probably go. I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'd probably go like Philly.
Wow, we have different lists. That's all I gotta say.
I don't know, man.
My 8 is the Blazers. Arden, can I get a 7 or a West 4?
Oh, my West 4 is the Denver Nuggets.
Cool. You got a number 7?
I thought you said you had a list, Cool.
Denver. I'm editing it now as we speak. I'm thinking fully.
I also have the Nuggets at 7.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah. There's reasons why, and I think they could be as high as 6 and as low as 9.
I'm way
Who you
higher.
got, Jim? Who you got, Jim?
For 7,
Yeah.
I have I don't have Utah.
All right, Arden, you got a 6?
I've got an East. Actually, you know what? Screw that. I'm just gonna. My 6 is Boston.
Pretty high.
Well, you know what?
Cole,
I probably would put Denver 5 and Boston 6 because I'm sacrificing the East-West thing.
Okay. Are Denver 7 or Denver 5?
What are we on?
We're on 6.
We're on 6.
Okay, my 6 is Denver, my 7 is Boston, so I'm just switching those two.
Okay. All right. Cole, who's your 6?
My 6 is Utah.
My 6 is also Utah.
Shit, I
Jim,
forgot about Utah.
Who's your 6?
My 6 is here's 6. Probably gonna put Golden State.
Really? Wow. Okay, let's get into it now.
See,
Top
I
5.
would too, but I can't see Golden State losing to Utah.
Yeah, same.
I don't see Golden State losing to Utah either.
All right. What did you
I don't
say?
know.
Say? Yeah, it's a tough pick. All right, 5. I want a small explanation for your 5 spot, Arden.
Well, first of all, I forgot about Utah. When I just keep that in mind when I continue this list. All right, but number 5, I have Philly. I think
You guys are
I think they're good, but you know what? Frankly, Jimmy Butler was the only guy that really showed up in the playoffs, and like I guess JJ Redick. Okay, and he's gone.
Yep.
All right, and yeah, they made improvements, and they're like defensively super good. I think they're actually better shooting now than they were before.
I mean, the numbers show that, but the analysts on ESPN don't. So obviously they're right.
No, but I don't see them ahead of Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's debatable.
And I don't see them ahead of like the big 3 in the West. So that's pretty much all it is. So I have them at 5.
Cool. Who's your number 5?
My 5 is the Philadelphia Sixers. Look at their lineup. You have Ben Simmons, can't shoot a lick. What's his face? Josh Richardson can shoot a bit better on defense. Tobias Harris is okay. Joel Embiid's always hurt. Al Horford is gonna basically be your glue guy. You don't have a deep bench. If any bench, like who do you have? You have James Ennis is okay. Mike Scott is okay. That's a bit.
Bro, don't sleep on Zaire Smith
Korkmaz.
this year, man. Don't sleep on my boy Zaire Smith this year. He's coming. He's
And
coming.
you have,
He's been tearing up this summer league.
You have Korkmaz, who's okay.
Nah, he signed a deal in Turkey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Korver's in play for the Sixers, though. That would be a big pickup.
That would, because you guys need like a consistent shooter. And Joel Embiid's health is
Tobias
always
only shot 40%.
the fact that Joel Embiid is 25 years of age and he's injured every other day and he's sick every other day is not a green flag for me. So that's why I have 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I have faith in him like getting his shit together.
Especially since you guys legitimately have no closer.
Someone has to emerge for sure. My 5 is the Milwaukee Bucks. They replaced arguably their second best player with the ghost of Wesley Matthews. They still don't have a great second creator, even though Chris Middleton's pretty good. He's a little bit streaky. Their game plan is very limited and was exposed badly in the playoffs. And frankly, they look a little bit like Houston West to me right now. They're kind of gimmicky. They revolve way too much around one player. That being said, they're still loaded on defense. They got shooters everywhere. I think they're going to be a contender this year, but I think unless I see significant improvement from Giannis on the ISO ball front, on the go get me a bucket front, I'm not. I'm still. I think they're a little far from where they want to be. I don't doubt them. I could see them winning it all, but at this point, they're the 5th best team. Jim, who's your 5?
Well, so right now, who did I say? So I said Portland is 10, Brooklyn is 9. Who did I say is 8? Did I say Philly is 8? I said Philly is 8. 6, I said Golden State.
So you put Boston over Brooklyn, eh?
Brooklyn's not even in my 10.
You put Brooklyn over Boston.
The fact that Brooklyn was last year, like they're young and they got a lot. They're loaded, like in depth wise, and they're just getting They're just getting more experience, and they added DeAndre Jordan and Kyrie. Like
I saw an interesting thing today, though, just to talk about Brooklyn. Every single player on the Brooklyn Nets who finished the season with a positive plus minus is no longer on their team.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I'm not saying it doesn't mean they're not going to be good. I think they're going to be a decent team. I just think it's pretty crazy.
They're easily contending for playoffs. I mean, you have Jared Allen, you have Joe Harris, who's an absolute sniper, Karis LeVert, who'll be a great bench guy.
Karis LeVert's the best player on the team right now.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
That boy is a monster.
Oh, sorry,
So anyway,
Spencer Dinwiddie would come off the bench.
Who's your 5?
Can I just make? I don't even know now. I want to state my 5 and then add Boston to my freaking 10.
Yeah, sure.
Talk about Golden State. So basically, I don't know. I'm pretty pissed off that Clay is going to be gone because I was really excited to see the 1-2 punch of Clay and Steph again. But having said that, I think Steph's going to fucking go off next year. Like, yeah, he's not going to be as efficient, but I think he's going to be hit up. He's got something to prove because people think he did technically fall flat again in the finals.
He's a fraud.
I was waiting for the word. I was waiting for you to say think he's a fraud.
And I understand. I understand why people think that D'Lo is not going to work in that system. But the guy's still young. The guy had his first All-Star appearance last year, and Kerr is a great coach. He can figure it out. I think he'll figure it out with them. And having Steph with them, I don't know. I think they're still going to be dirty.
I agree. 4, Artin
McKinney, who's the best player on the league. Alfonso McKinney,
bro. For no ulterior reason. Artin, who's your 4?
Ulterior reason.
My number 4 is the Milwaukee Bucks. I think they're pretty much just going to be this year, but like a little bit better maybe, just because they're more kind of familiar with each other. And I think Budenholzer is I think he's going to learn from his mistakes a little bit. Like, I don't think it's going to be a D'Antoni situation where he just kind of like steps back, and kind of like disappears a little bit, and people aren't really talking about him. Like, I feel like Budenholzer is going to kind of realize what happened and try and work on that. And Giannis is only going to get better, That's the top 3, my top 3 in the West anyway. I don't see them like going down for a while. So, but Milwaukee right now, I'd say they're my favorite to get to the finals in the East.
I think something interesting about Milwaukee is that there seems to be some locker room problems, and it wasn't reported. But when they asked Malcolm Brogdon about what excites him about Indiana, he said he liked the fit because not one guy was controlling everything, and there was real leadership, which is something you kind of say when there isn't real leadership in your other locker room. but we'll see if that develops or if he just doesn't like Giannis for some reason. Side note: did you guys know that Malcolm Brogdon kind of sounds like Obama?
Yes,
they
yes.
sound
I
really-
kept. I said that during
It's
his
really
Rookie of
weird.
the Year speech. I was like, I feel like we're being addressed by the president.
It's really weird. Anyway, Cole, who's your 4?
My 4 is the Golden State Warriors.
Nice pick. Why?
Addition of Willie Cauley-Stein is nice. Addition
Getting Looney
of
back on
D'Angelo
that
Russell,
cheap deal was crazy.
It was, because he could have gotten paid a bit more. But getting D'Lo, a little gimmicky. It's just do as best as we can with this until Clay comes back. That's how it feels to me.
That's a good point.
Curry's obviously gonna stuff the shit out of the stat board. But I could see them going second round. They're the third best team in the West. That's what I say. With Curry, a healthy comeback Clay, if he's still there, D'Lo, Draymond Green plus Willie Cauley-Stein.
So you say the third best team in the West?
Yep.
Well, I disagree because my 4th team is the Los Angeles Lakers, baby. I love me some LeBron. I love me some AD. But at the end of the day, did he leave?
I had to take a second to recap on what you just said.
Anyway, I love me some LeBron. I love me some AD. But let's look at the facts here, okay? LeBron is past his prime. He's no longer the guy that can take 4 scrubs to the finals. I know Anthony Davis isn't a scrub, but he has not yet proven that he can take anyone anywhere. Can he be the best player on a title team? We don't know yet. We have to find out. So I'm not ready to put my faith in him without a serious supporting cast that they would have had with Kawhi. Their supporting cast is good, but the problem is that if you look at the guys who are going to be playing a lot, right? Avery Bradley, you're banking on him getting better as a shooter because he was horrendous with the Clippers. So bad they traded him to
Cool,
Memphis.
please, man, come on.
And then you have Danny Green, who he can really shoot, but he goes hot and cold. You saw in the playoffs, he became a ghost.
He's still a great defender.
He's a great defender. Now you look at the bench, right? You got talk about Kuz. Kuz is Jeff Green, light skin. That's all. Now we go to the bench. We see Rajon Rondo, who likes to assist Hunt and doesn't play defense anymore. You look at who else do they have? Oh, Troy Daniels. He played minutes for Phoenix last year and they won 20 games.
They re-signed JaVale
You have
McGee.
Jared Dudley, whose most popular moment was making fun of Ben Simmons, then getting 30 dropped on his head by a guy who can't shoot outside of 7 feet. And overall, I think outside of LeBron, AD, Danny Green, Avery Bradley, and maybe Boogie and JaVale, they're both the best versions of themselves. I don't see that much dynamic ability in them. They don't have a lot of options. Their options are we give the ball to AD, we give the ball to LeBron, they create. And I think the interesting thing, though, is I think that the 4 teams I'm going to list at the top, as many flaws as the Lakers have, I think every team has flaws. And I think the Lakers could win a championship. Even the Bucks, I'd say, any of the top 5 could win a title. But I think you have to really hope that the Clippers don't get a big man. I think that's the biggest thing. And you kind of got to hope for health because AD's never been the healthiest guy. Neither is Avery Bradley or Rondo, Boogie. But at this point, the Lakers are a bit too player dependent, unlike the 3 teams ahead of them. A little bit too player dependent. They do have the best duo in the league. I'll give you that. They have the best duo in the league.
We'll get to that.
Jims, who's your 4?
Who's the duo? 4?
Who's your 4?
I'm gonna
James,
go with Artin 2 with Milwaukee.
No.
I think Brogdon sucks and Mirotic sucks too, but again, they're a young team. They have another year of experience. I think they needed this kick in the ass, even being up 2-0 and just seeing how they lost.
They do. They fully did need that. That's a really good point.
That, and again, Giannis is going to get better. Right, and you know what? But they were up 2-0 on the Raptors, who's a great defensive team. And even when the Raptors started shooting well again, they were missing wide. They could have fully beat the Raptors, even with Kawhi playing well. They were missing wide open shots, including Brogdon, and like everyone was missing. So, you know what? I would not be surprised at all if they made the finals from the East. Another great year, plus with somewhat of a mid-range game, and I think he's gonna have to learn at least a little bit of a contested 3-2 because it's just vital for a superstar to have now in the league.
I think it's interesting when we talk about teams that rely on the three a lot, like Houston, or I guess used to be like Houston because now they have two guys who can't shoot.
Not Houston anymore.
But a team like Milwaukee, we talk about they miss a lot of open threes. Well, if you shoot 35% as a team, it's considered good, right? Like the three, as efficient as it can be, is you can live and die by it pretty hard. So it'll be interesting to see how Milwaukee counters that with a little more of a 3-level scoring offense.
Because against Boston, they didn't miss. Like they were literally not missing against Boston.
Boston's players also wanted to kill each other during the playoffs, so I don't give them as much credit.
You know what? This is what we talked about in the podcast after the second round when we talked about Houston. Like, it's not just about being a good 3-point shooting team. It's about having a three as well, right? And that's the thing about the Raptors and the Warriors this year is they were scoring from everywhere. They were scoring from all over the place, including the
also,
three.
It's like
not only the three.
Only because when you only have the three, you're right. Then you're fucked basically. But it also makes it where once you start missing, like your system's not going, you start missing open threes, and that's where you start to lose.
Yeah.
Like
because you don't have a second, you don't have another. I said this before the playoffs because I picked Toronto to beat Milwaukee at the beginning in the East Finals at the beginning of the playoffs, and I said the reason I thought so was because when Toronto's game plan goes wrong, they have who can just make something out of nothing, like Siakam and Kawhi. And I didn't think that Milwaukee had enough guys who could do that because Giannis didn't have that. He just had to sprint at the rim. And Middleton is streaky. Brogdon, he's good, but he's a efficiency scorer, not a volume one. So it'll be interesting to see how they change for sure. Artin, what's your three?
Number 3.
My number 3 is the LA Lakers. Mike, I agree with pretty much everything you said negatively. All right, Cole, stop the keyboard thing, man. That's so dead.
Killing me.
I put them at number 3. That's pretty good, man. Come on.
I'm changing my list. Sorry, chill.
Mike, I agree with all the negative things you said, but also like the bottom line here is you got LeBron and you've got Anthony Davis. Like
that's why they're at 4 for me. That's still a top 5 team, and I said they could win it all.
Yeah, you also like Philly a little more than most people, but we'll get to that, I guess. I have the Lakers. I think there's gonna be problems in terms of like where they're scoring from. They still don't really have shooters. Like Danny Green is a great shooter, but like you said, he's streaky and he went completely cold for like 2 months this year. He went completely cold in the playoffs. And Avery Bradley, I feel like he's a bit of an overrated shooter, you know? Like I feel like he's not as good as people say he is.
He's not the Avery Bradley of when he was on the Celtics. Like if it was the Avery Bradley on the Celtics.
So yeah, exactly. I feel like they're still gonna have 3-point shooting problems, but they've still got two guys who can put up 50 on any given night. And as far as like depth goes, they've got pretty decent players coming off the bench, right? And they've got a pretty good starting lineup. And I think Kuzma's underrated. I like Kuzma a lot. So yeah, I have them at number 3.
Jeff Green with the 3. Jeff Green, but light skin. But yeah. Cole, you have 3?
Yeah.
There's only 3 teams left, unless you're gonna put the Hornets here or something.
Yeah, so my number 3 is the Charlotte Hornets.
Terry Rozier, Baby Jordan.
Nah, my 3 is the Los Angeles Clippers. They have a solid roster, you know. They have They have 2 great.
Oh my god! And
Paul George and Kawhi Leonard.
I don't even want to listen to this.
They have an aging Lou Will who will be good off the bench. They have a good, solid center power forward, Montrezl Harrell. I'm just looking down the roster. They're a little bit short. I guess they have Zubac too. Patrick Beverley's not really a playmaker. He's more of a defensive player. But they're good. They're good all around. They'll have a solid year, and yeah, they'll be second best in the West. Yeah.
Fuck.
Right.
Okay.
So for my third, I have the Warriors. I don't know why people are acting like they don't have 4 All-Stars on their team come playoff time. They lost Kevin Durant, which is, it's a problem, but you still have Steph Curry, who at any time could hit 15 threes in a game and shimmy everywhere, and they'll have Klay Thompson for when it really matters, who can score 30 points in a quarter, and they have D'Angelo Russell, who, while not on KD's level, can provide that ISO score at the end of games that they need, and will continue to develop into a good player. They have Draymond Green, who takes the regular season off, but in the playoffs plays pretty well. Willie Cauley-Stein and Kevon Looney is a fantastic center rotation for a team that doesn't have much cap. They're kind of short after that, but the strength of their top 6, I think, is a little bit stronger than the Lakers' top 6 overall. The Lakers are more top heavy, and they're a little bit weak on defense, especially in the backcourt until Klay comes back. I genuinely think that there will be a game. If Golden State and Portland play before Klay gets back, we might see like Dame and CJ and Steph and D'Lo both combined for like 70 points each, because there's no defense going on there at all. Like, there's just not going to be defense for those two guys. But yeah, I still got the Warriors. I don't know why we're doubting 3-time champions. That's all I want to know, because I think they still have a chance.
Them at all.
Well, people are talking about the Lakers and the Clippers like they're this distant third, when I think they still have a chance to win it all. It'll be a lot tougher, but yeah. So, Jim, who's your 3?
You guys ranked them a little bit. You guys ranked them like around 5 or 6, I think. But I put my 3 as actually Denver. I don't know. I really like their team top to bottom. They have a good coach. They got experience this year. Like, again, like the Milwaukee, losing in Game 7 sucks in the second round, but you need that. You need that experience. And getting Michael Porter Jr. back.
He's hurt again.
He's not gonna play all next year.
Well, I'm gonna talk about Michael Porter after you're done, but there's a chance that he won't play. Well, he won't play for the beginning of the year. We'll talk about that in a sec. It's actually a really interesting story.
Well, okay. Well, this is also if he's like healthy playing. I thought he was gonna be healthy. If he's healthy playing, and then even getting Bull, Woodward, man. But he's a good player. He's a really good player too. And Jokic is the guy's on. He looks like a fucking dirty Euro who smokes a pack a day. But the guy, positionless, is one of the best passers in the league. Jamal Murray, Kitchener-Mans, is a good player too. They got Gary Harris.
He's baby Dame.
I think he's more efficient. Like, I don't think he's as good of a shooter, but I think he's gonna be more efficient. No, I really like Denver. I really, really like Denver. They're a young, good team, and if Michael Porter Jr. is healthy and Bull is what he's supposed to be, I think they can be pretty dangerous.
I worry about Denver's defense, but I think you're right. They're going to be a good team. What I was going to say about Michael Porter is that I read something really interesting about how every single one of Michael Porter's him and his 3 siblings all can't stay healthy. His sister was a #1 recruit for women's college basketball, and has had 6 knee surgeries and can't play anymore. His brother's on his 3rd knee surgery or 3rd leg surgery, something like that. And so someone took a little bit deeper dive and found out that the reason is because their parents raised them vegan.
What?
And they don't have them. Their muscles and their body doesn't have the ability to retain stuff. Even though it gets
their parents raised them vegan.
Yep. And it's because of that their bodies can't handle the stress. Because they'd never had milk or eggs or steak.
Dude,
so they've been vegan from birth?
Like either from birth or from a very young age. Wow. And the idea is that the veganism, because they weren't eating stuff that would keep them like they weren't eating natural protein and stuff. Their protein was beans and stuff like that. They're not able to stay healthy.
Is this like a confirmed thing?
It's not. It's not a confirmed. it's not a confirmed thing from directly from the source, but the science matches up basically.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
You can't get your protein from nuts alone.
Yeah,
And, like,
it's that endurance. It's the ability to do that. I mean, if that ends up being the actual, if someone comes forward and says yes, this is it, and the theory is, which is very valid. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's very valid. It's like it's confirmed. It will be a great 30 for 30 about how the guy who was dropping 40 at 17 on NBA players couldn't stay healthy because his dad wouldn't let him eat ribs. Anyway, Artin, 2.
Wait, did Cole say his?
Oh, did you say yours? Yeah, you did. Clippers.
Wait,
okay, my bad.
Why can't you just start eating meat now?
I don't know.
Maybe,
Well, also, if you don't eat meat,
it's
if you don't eat meat for a long
after
time, you can't eat it. You'll throw it up because your body doesn't recognize.
Also, after 18 years, like your body's probably developed in a way that you can't really fix. If you know that's what's going on.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 2 is the Golden State Warriors.
There we go.
The thing that pisses me off the most, not the most, but pretty damn close, is the disrespect that Steph Curry gets, man. People just don't want to acknowledge this guy as one of like this. He was the unanimous MVP.
We're talking about this year.
Yeah, but I'm. There we go. The LeBron fans.
I'm not saying all LeBron James has 3 MVPs.
Okay, well here's what I'm saying about this year, Cole. Curry's gonna be an MVP candidate. And the other thing is everyone talks about Clay 24/7. Everyone talks about Clay 24/7, but then no one actually wants to like acknowledge him as a great player. He never gets All NBA or anything like that. So people disrespect Clay as well. They just act like they don't disrespect Clay. Like the Warriors, man. No one wants to talk about how good the Warriors are. And you know what? I'll say it. We got lucky this year with all the injuries. Like I don't care. I'm never gonna mention that, but
I still think
we had no business beating a healthy. No, we had no business.
I think without KD, with Clay, the Raptors still would have beaten the Warriors. But I think obviously healthy, they're a top 5 team ever. So.
Bottom line, D'Lo, I think he's clearly shown like maturity, and I think he'll be willing to kind of play into the system. And Warriors love playing small, so you could fit him in there. You've still got Steph, Clay, Draymond, Willie Cauley-Stein is really good, D'Lo is really good, and Iggy's gone, but
Willie Cauley-Stein is not really good.
Livingston's gone too.
I said pretty good, but he's.
Oh, I thought you said really good.
He's good, and also just the fact that like he kind of pushed his way out of Sacramento shows that he's trying to take it to the next level. And I just feel like no one wants to talk about the Warriors. Like Mike, what you said about how no one wants to like give them a chance. I think they've got a really, really good shot at making the finals.
I gave them 4. I didn't say they're garbage. I put them at 4.
Yeah, but you also.
I also
want to talk a lot about fraud Curry. And you know what? Curry he definitely had his fraud moments. I can't deny his fraud moments.
Fraud Curry is a 10 out of 10 meme. It's the best. It was incredible. And look, there's no player who is exempt from any type of criticism or getting made fun of. Steph Curry is obviously a top 15. In some people, Jim's eyes, a top 10 player. No one is disputing his all-time greatness that actually has ever watched him play basketball. But everybody is catching these jokes. If you you miss a big shot,
you're getting.
You gotta have the same treatment as when LeBron, when Kobe, when KD misses a big shot.
Yeah, I can't deny his fraud moments, but also I think like outside of that, people are still not doing enough.
Let's also take in he's 30. He's going to be turning 32 this year, and he has quite a lot of miles on his ankles.
That's true.
And
the ankles could be a problem, absolutely. But I could say something similar about Anthony Davis.
This year.
I could say something similar about Anthony Davis.
Anthony Davis.
I could say something similar about LeBron.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, can we get to that, please?
Anyway, let's continue. Cole, please, may I have your number 2?
My number 2 is the Milwaukee Bucks. Solid all around roster. A huge variable, and I hate to say this, is Eric Bledsoe, because he can have like nice high highs and terrible low lows where he's literally useless. But
Similar
besides,
to
like,
sorry, continue. I was gonna make a bad.
I like the team all around. An interesting signing was that the Lopez brother. That'll be an interesting backup center.
They did that just to make him stay.
I'm looking at the contract. Brook Lopez is making It looks like Brook Lopez is making 3.3, and Robin Lopez is making 14.3 mil.
That's ridiculous.
That's hilarious. And then obviously Chris Middleton, he's a nice little player. He could probably be an all-star in an underwhelming overall Eastern Conference again. Paul Gasol, if he's healthy or if he's even playing anymore. George Hill, solid.
He's terrible. He's done.
George Hill?
Pau Gasol, he's done.
Oh.
Watching him play in San Antonio. He's a good guy to have on the bench, but watching him play real minutes in San Antonio, it was rough. It was really rough.
Obviously, Giannis is a beast. DJ Wilson is a nice little power forward stretch big. I do like him.
You haven't even named the second best player on the team. Dante DiVincenzo, the WAP.
Oh.
Bro.
Pat Connaughton.
Baby man.
Connaughton's a great role player. Pat Connaughton's actually sick.
Yeah, he can. Isn't he have like a 45-inch vertical?
Yeah, he has hops. I don't understand how, but.
Yeah, he has the highest vertical in the league right now, I think.
That's crazy.
No, Wiggins does.
Oh, what a waste.
Bro, you guys talk so much crap about Wiggins, but he's just Jordan, but like less good at defense.
No, oh my god.
No, I agree. If you took everything good about Michael and you took it away, he would be Andrew Wiggins.
No, so he's just Jordan, but he has dreads.
All right, let's keep going. I don't want to talk about Andrew Wiggins.
Anyway, so for my number 2, I put a lot of thought into this, but I had to look myself in the mirror and say, what does my brain think and what does my heart think? And we think different things. So my number 2 is the Los Angeles Clippers, because my favorite player plays there. But they have some very glaring holes.
You went with your heart?
Say the fact. You're not calling the Sixers the best team in the league. Oh my god.
I'm going to explain
opinionated. It's opinionated.
I'm going to explain, and I actually have facts to back up my argument. So please, first of all, the Clippers have the best player in the league. They have a very good coach. They have the second best second option in the league. But I see holes in their roster. They have good players, obviously. Lou Will, monster. Patrick Beverley, he's a dog. Montrezl Harrell, he's a dog. Mo Harkless, like Jim said, really, really good 3-and-D player. His shooting comes and goes, but you take it. But they're missing things. In order to win a title this year, hypothetically, the Clippers are going to have to go through a combination of either one or more of Anthony Davis, Giannis, and Joel Embiid. Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe even 3. Okay? So
my
who's going to guard those guys? 6'7" Montrezl Harrell or Zubac?
Beverly.
Have no interior paint presence, which is a problem when all the other really good teams have intimidating paint players. Now, for Giannis, they happen to have the one guy who was really good at stopping Giannis, but Giannis is more about man. I'm getting emotional right now. I'm thinking about the motivation that brought him to win the championship this year. Anyway, but Kawhi's defense on Giannis was more about pushing him into the bigs. His extremely high basketball IQ was able to get him to do, and for that reason, I still think that Giannis will have his way as in the D1. Anyway. The other thing, they don't have any passers. They have no one to run the point. That's just what it is. I think they're gonna get Kyle Lowry. But Uh, and I think if they get Kyle Lowry and or got Steven Adams, Clint Capella, someone like that, I would put them in I would put them in the number one spot. But at this point, if you have no one to pass the ball and no one to protect the rim, as good as your wings are and as good as your bench is, the flaws are going to show, because in the deep playoffs, your flaws are shown. Jims, who's your second best team in the league?
As much as it pains me to say it, it's deep in my loins how much I don't want to.
In the loins.
I have to give it to the Lakers right now. I actually like the pickups they made. Again, even though Boogie's not what he was, you get him for like $3 million. Like, that's insane. Like, that's stupid.
Oh yeah.
That's stupid. Danny Green, I know, can be streaky, but the guy had his best, statistically, besides the playoffs, his best season last year. And
yes, sir.
Wrong on the floor. And okay, Cole, if I'm gonna say it, let me fucking say it.
This guy's doing ad-lib like he's Quavo speech, bro.
Like, LeBron and AD on the floor, and then you got Kuzma and shit all there. Like, you've got Danny Green's gonna have wide open shots. Like, he's gonna hit those. I think if LeBron stays healthy, but I've said this before, now that LeBron had his first, like, pretty major injury at his 15th year, that's a big sign for having injuries. Getting ones like the groin, like the ankle, like the knees. Artin, you just killed me. But I think if LeBron stays healthy, and even Quinn Cook, that's a good pickup for depth. Like, I like Quinn Cook.
He's a great 3-point shooter.
I think the Lakers are, if everyone stays healthy, but that's a big if, because I think LeBron might have issues. AD usually always has issues. Well, I don't like their coach. I fucking hate their coach. I feel like the thing that can fully take down this whole team is, I don't know about that locker room. I think that locker room might be an issue. And when you have someone like Frank Vogel trying to lead that team, and you have Jason Kidd right underneath him, literally planning to be the head coach by next year or 2 years from now,
that would be the worst possible option.
But if I look straight on paper, the number 2 seed right now in the league.
One thing with the locker room thing is, I get it, but if LeBron can win a title with Kyrie Irving, who likes to play like these weird Saw type mind games with people, I'm a count on him to be okay.
You gotta look, but that year, like, that was a very. They would have won the year
before too. They would have won the year before if Kyrie and Kevin Love didn't get hurt.
But
you can't say the Warriors would have won in 2016 if all the shit with that happened.
You can. You fully can.
So you're telling me that a
Raptors won
for
this year.
One game?
It was a little bit lucky. Things happen. Players get injured.
Things happen. Things happen.
Things happen. The bottom line is whoever won.
Yeah.
My point is though is that, and me and Cole have had this discussion before. This is not really disputable. Every year where LeBron goes, LeBron team, like wherever LeBron is, there's always bullshit. Every single year, no matter who's on his team.
No, I agree, but
it's just because he's the biggest star in the league. The biggest stars in the league. The magnifying glass is always going to be on him. The magnifying glass will always be on him
for sure. But
LeBron,
give him credit. His chaos has resulted in multiple titles, which not many people can say they have multiple titles.
Just think this year, KD is all of a sudden, people are saying he's the best player in the league. All of a sudden, there's just all this issue with Draymond Green. There's issue, does he want to stay? Everyone's
KD's just
there's chaos in Golden State, but no one's talking about it. I'm just saying, if you're the biggest player in the league, if you have a lot of spotlight on you, every little thing is going to be magnetized. Everything.
KD also is kind of
the Lakers. The Lakers were the 10th seed in the league in the West this year, and they had all this bullshit with them. Even so you can't really say that.
That wasn't as much as the bullshit as much as injuries. But let's just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah,
number one, Artin. Your number one team is the Clippers.
My number one team is the LA. Actually, it's the Mavericks because they signed DeLon Wright. So Put him with
walking triple
Doncic.
dub. Well, Doncic's going on the bench if DeLon Wright's playing.
That's no. They'll just put Doncic at the 5.
Oh, true.
My number 1 is the LA Clippers. The things you talked about, Mike, I feel like they're just like bonuses. Like if you get like a really good, if you get a point guard who can run the offense, like that's a bonus when you've got. What is it now, Cole? What is it now?
Can you, Artin, can you name me a title team in the last whatever amount of years that won a title without a point guard who knew how to run the...
Mario Chalmers.
LeBron is the point guard, so that doesn't count.
Dude, Kawhi and Paul George are 2 guys that can
I
bring
don't know.
the
I don't know why you're acting
They're
like
nasty.
Pat Beverly doesn't know how to pass the ball.
He's not a floor general.
No,
He's an
Jim, to be honest, you're a little too high
I'll
on
get
Pat
into it when I
Beverly.
go into it. Well, keep going, Arden. Keep going.
No, but look, bottom line is they've got, I think, the best 1-2 in the league. I think they're like better than LeBron and AD. Especially since LeBron doesn't care about defense anymore. And just kind of top to bottom, you've got players like when we talk about Beverly and we talk about Montrezl Harrell, we talk about Lou Williams. All right, we haven't really talked about Lou Will. Like it's just good. It's just good players, good coach. All of them have good mentalities, and we talked about how like the Raptors really wanted the ring. Pat Beverly wants a ring, and he wants to play well so he can get a freaking paycheck when he's older. Lou Will wants a ring, you know, like these guys. Paul George wants a ring. Like these guys want to play, and they all have good mentalities. Like who's the guy that's gonna ruin the locker room? You know, like I feel like Paul George is maybe the most
Uncle Dennis.
dramatic.
Uncle Dennis.
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be Uncle Dennis.
They're gonna start the season 2-2, and Uncle Dennis will request a trade.
Come on.
But man, I just feel like they've got a lot going for them, whereas a lot of other teams right now kind of have things that they have to fight against.
I'll continue with that when I go.
Okay. All right, Cole. Actually, then you just go, and me and Cole finish because we had different ones.
Okay. So yeah,
And
I'm also
as they say, high low pass from Martin to Jim.
why is Jim playing center?
Because he has presence.
Oh,
I have grit. So again, I'm gonna go with the Clippers too, and just in my opinion, I don't even really think it's close. The fact that I don't even know how to. Kawhi and Paul George were in the conversation, even though Kawhi wasn't really technically talking about MVP this year because he didn't play. He only played 60 games. If he played 82 games and just from his playoff run, he would have been an MVP in the MVP talk too, like Paul George was. They can put up as many points as LeBron and AD, but they're way better defenders. I know AD is a good defender, but LeBron doesn't play. LeBron is basically Andrew Wiggins defensively now.
And that's a bit of an over. He wasn't actually, the funny thing, he wasn't actually that bad at defense this year. He just would take like quarters off, which is not something to be proud of, Cole. But like there was a decent amount of time where like he wasn't a good defender. He wasn't terrible, but I mean he's not in the same class as Paul George.
And Paul George are like the 2 best defenders in the league. And they're just as good 3-point shooters, if not better. And they can do everything. And also, who are the only 2 superstars besides like the Golden State team LeBron's had trouble with? And Paul George when he was on Indiana.
He never lost to them. He never lost to them.
He took him to Game 7 with the Miami team in LeBron's prime.
But Jim,
who's Paul George playing with then? Who's Paul George playing with there? Roy Hibbert.
Roy Hibbert averaged 20 and 10.
It was a great year.
You're gonna compare that Pacers team to that Miami team.
But Jim,
they won.
You can't compare this team.
Jimmy, if a
Tyler Hansborough.
Jimmy, if a team, if a guy can't beat another guy, right? We can't say they had trouble. Paul George was great. LeBron never had. Paul George was up 25.
Game 7 in his prime. Well, hold on, Mike. But I wasn't done though. He took him to Game 7 in his prime with no other superstars around him. You can't say that Indiana team had any superstars. You pair Kawhi and Paul George together.
They're going to be really good, man. They're
That's LeBron.
I'd give them.
I know you said Montrezl Harrell was only 6'7". He's still a top 5 post defender in the league, even with his height.
No. AD put 46 on him. Let's relax.
Mo Harkless is a great defender. Pat Beverly's a great defender. They're all great defenders, and they can all hit the three-pointer. That's literally that's the success to winning a championship. But they're elite. Like, they're literally elite in every category.
Okay, so I just... No. They're elite in everywhere except for and Pat.
I have a question.
I just want to point something out. Can I ask? No, but before, just about the Paul George thing. In the 7-game series that the Indiana Pacers and the Miami Heat played in 2013, Paul George averaged 19 points, 6 rebounds, and Roy Hibbert averaged 22 points and 10 rebounds. So it was a two-headed snake that. Even though after that,
with a superstar, when you put Paul George with a superstar, Kawhi Leonard,
it works just like in OKC.
LeBron's killer. Yeah, because it worked with OKC. Russell Westbrook's a superstar. Russell Westbrook's not even close to a superstar.
Bro, but Russell Westbrook triple-double. He's the best player of all time. He's the best player of all time. He averages a triple-double.
Russell Westbrook.
Okay. Anyway, Cole, Lakers. Give me your pitch.
The number 1 team in the NBA is the Los Angeles Lakers. Sign Anthony. I've talked. Haven't I already talked about the Lakers?
Yeah, you don't stop talking about the Lakers.
You can talk about them more if you want, or you can just skip to me. I don't care.
Yeah, you can just make your bullet points if you want.
We're decent. The only thing we lack is we're slightly underwhelming in defensive, like in terms of all-around defense. We have a few great defenders, but in terms of a total team effort, we're a little bit slow in defense.
You have one great defender and one good defender.
I'm speaking.
You have to be honest. You have one great defender.
I'm speaking.
Jim,
who's the great defender? Who's the great defender?
Daniel Green.
Oh, then they have 2. So AD and Danny Green.
I wouldn't call him great. He's good.
He was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year.
Wait, let Cole go. Let Cole go. It's Cole's turn.
He's a rim protector.
Anyway, so yeah, all-around defense. And then secondly, as Marku said before, I don't like Frank Vogel as a coach, and I'm even more not enjoying Jason Kidd as a coach. Don't want him near the franchise.
Don't understand why didn't they just get Ty Lue? Like, why didn't they just do that?
Ty Lue wanted more money. I don't know how the salary.
Give him more money. Make LeBron happy.
Does the coach's salary affect the salary cap?
No,
it's literally separate.
So I don't understand that. I think they did it because they were in the whole, let's make sure we show the league that we have power and LeBron doesn't control everything, even though LeBron really does control everything.
LeBron needs to control everything right now for that franchise.
They should have tried to make a trade for Eric Spoelstra.
Yeah, what if they traded Kuzma for Spoelstra?
Phil Jackson came back.
Their salaries would work out.
That'd be terrible.
Anyway,
are you good then, Cole?
I have a question. I have a question for you, Mike.
Yeah. Oh.
Yes. Artin, go ahead.
When was the last time a team needed a center to win?
Well, I mean, every time people talk about 2016, they talk about how Andrew Bogut got injured because there was no rim protection. And I thoroughly believe that Marc Gasol, his ability to play defense on Joel Embiid and clog the paint against Giannis Antetokounmpo, was crucial in them beating both those teams. So I would say 2018, 2016, the Warriors even, you saw what happened when Looney got hurt and Boogie had to play. It was bad. But what I don't think a center has to be the best player, but I think you need a guy that when you're playing against inside scorers can give them trouble. Honest to God, I think if Steven Adams got traded to the Clippers right now, I put them in number 1.
That would be an incredible trade for them.
I don't know. They wouldn't be able to, I don't know how to get him, but if they had a guy who can give AD, Giannis, Embiid, guys like that problems, they'd be they'd be far and ahead. They need one or the other. They need a guy who can run the offense smoothly without even score, like a Kyle Lowry, who I think they're going to get for Shamit.
I just don't understand this run the offense thing. You have fucking Kawhi and Paul George can create the offense themselves.
Yes,
no,
but
because
you don't want
the
it
thing
to be
is, Kawhi and Paul
stagnant.
George aren't gonna like run the team the
You
way a
don't want
true
it to
point guard
be
will.
Oklahoma City where it's my turn, your turn, my turn, your turn. You need a guy like Kyle Lowry. As much as I love me a good Kyle Lowry hate session. You need a guy who is able to naturally be a quarterback on the floor, a floor general, right? That's someone, and
I don't
that's why I
know.
think Kyle Lowry end up there because
Lou
you
Will
don't
can
want your
do that,
offense to
though.
be stagnant. You don't want it to be like
Yeah.
very predictable. You need a guy who can kind of move around, create, not worry about scoring himself, worry more about getting guys into their spots. The point guard is very
I think
important.
Beverly can still do that.
He can do it, but at a level that is not.
I guess my point, Mike, is
Mike
that
Conley.
I agree
Mike
with
Conley
you.
is one of those guys too.
But no, Mike Conley in his prime was an elite point guard. Like they don't need an elite point guard. That's my point.
I think I'm talking about like
He can
Mike
do that
Conley now,
job.
a Kyle Lowry now, a guy like that, a pass first point guard. Even Darren Collison would have been great before he retired. A guy that is strictly there to set up and facilitate the other guys. Because Kawhi likes his catch it off the screen. Kawhi likes his flare out to the corner. Kawhi likes his spot up.
I still think Pat Beverly's a smart guy. He's going to play defense. He's going to hit his wide open threes, and I think he's going to take on that role where he's just going to set up Paul George.
I think he can take on that role, but when
Kawhi
get to the conference finals and the finals, you need a guy who is natural at it. And Pat Beverly, as much as he can try to be that guy, is not a natural at it. Anyway,
I guess my point, Mike, I think, is that I agree with you on the point guard thing, but I think if they don't get it, then like
I think they can
they'll still be okay.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a lot. I'm not here to say the Clippers have no chance to win a title because they have Kawhi Leonard and Paul George.
But what I definitely think is that you don't need like an incredible center to win, and I think Montrezl Harrell is totally serviceable as your starting center.
If Montrezl Harrell was 6'11", I would agree with you, but the stat, like, Artin, last time the non-holdout Anthony Davis Pelicans played the Clippers, Anthony Davis scored 46 points and had, I think, 18 rebounds.
That's one game, though. Okay, he had a great game, but you're going to put that against a series, and Doc Rivers, again, you have to look at Rivers, too. The guy's a good... I think he's a little bit overrated where people call him an amazing... He's a good coach, and you have Kawhi and Paul George. They'll figure it out defensively with Anthony Davis.
Well, they'll figure it out on the perimeter for sure, but those guys aren't playing paint D. Like, AD, we forget because he was being a little bitch this year, but AD, like, he is very capable of 35 and 15 a night if you don't have anyone to guard him.
I have a general question. Who takes the last shot on that Clippers roster?
Kawhi.
Kawhi.
Really?
Without question, Kawhi.
Kawhi
What do you mean, really? Kawhi was clutch like 15 times this playoffs.
You wouldn't give Paul George a shot?
Not over Kawhi.
If he's wide open, but no, Kawhi takes that last shot.
Yeah. No, PG's not built like that. He's won for like 20 in his career for game-ending shots or something like that.
Paul George might come off as an asshole, but I think he knows how good Kawhi is now. Like,
yeah, no, for sure.
He's gonna let Kawhi.
He went there to play with Kawhi, so like he knows.
And he's home now too. Like he's literally home. Like and apparently I was reading something that even though he grew up in LA and he liked the Lakers, he was actually a Clipper fan.
That sounds
like he's literally
too
in his
convenient.
perfect
That sounds
scenario.
so fake, but yeah.
Anyway, Paul George has never won a championship, so it makes sense that he was a Clippers fan. Okay, so now it's time for you all to be educated on the best team in basketball.
Oh God!
And I would like to start. I have a whole speech, man. I have a whole speech. I would like to start with the tale of four bounces. Around the middle of May. That's the best player in basketball, Kawhi Leonard, caught the ball, dribbled it, and flung a shot up. 4 bounces, it went in. The Raptors won the title. And poor old soul, baby JoJo, was left to cry in Marcus Gasol's arm. That's the type of thing you need as a young player to see how bad it really can feel. The Sixers are the best team in the league because they have the least amount of flaws. There's no perfect team, and the Sixers are not perfect. But let's talk about the Sixers. They lost 2 guys, right? They lost Jimmy Butler, he's great. He's very good. Top 15 player in the league. Incredible basketball player. But he's a little bit of a head case. And while he was definitely our second best player, I think we rebounded really well. Al Horford.
Who's your best player?
No, he wasn't. There's a guy between 28 and 13 on our roster.
He was always injured and did nothing in the playoffs.
Really? Yeah, like when he single-handedly beat the Nets 2 of the 5 games. Of course.
He beat the Nets, and then he scored 5 points against
I thought the Nets were a good young team, Jim. Anyway.
They were also the 8th.
So
let him speak, Jim.
So we talk about the Sixers lost their shooting. Al Horford made more threes at a higher percentage and took more threes than Jimmy Butler. And now, yes, JJ Redick leaving is a bad thing. But guess who wasn't on the floor half the time at the end of games? JJ Redick, because he can't guard a chair. I'm pretty sure Cole could get by JJ Redick, and I'm not joking because I actually think that's possible. We replaced him with Josh Richardson, who is the first option on a 38-win team and is now going to be the 4th. He shot 39% on spot-up threes, which he'll be shooting a lot more this year. We talk about who's going to be the closer. They don't have a guy. Tobias Harris shot 8% better off dribble shots than Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is easily a better closer than Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is only 25 years old. He's getting better, and I think he can grow into that role. It does matter on that. At the end of the day, we have the best defense in basketball. We have 4 all-defense caliber players. We don't have the best perimeter defense, Jim, but we do have the best defense in basketball. Because we actually have guys that can guard the rim. Remember when he turned my baby JoJo into a shell of himself in the playoffs. He's going to be our backup 5 and what people don't understand about Big Al Horford being backup 5 and the starting 4 is that now beforehand, you could not sit Embiid. That's why he kept getting hurt at the end of the seasons, because he had to play so much because the team was so much worse without him. Embiid had the 3rd highest plus minus of anyone in the playoffs, and his team lost in the second round. Only Kawhi and Danny Green had. So that's how important he was to be on the floor. The Sixers were that good when he was on the floor, and now because we have a capable guy who can start at the 5 and Al Horford, he can get that load management. 60, 55 games and get ready for the playoffs. Offensively, we are not perfect. We have a guy who is scared of shooting jump shots. But Ben, he's in the gym with D Wade. He dropped Kendall Jenner to go fuck up the Lakers. Shout out to Ben. Mind games. And it does matter, but I do think we can win with him not having much of a jump shot, because he's a good playmaker, he's a good rebounder, and he's a great defender. He's the only player in the league that guarded all 5 positions this year and held them under 5% field goal percentage collectively for at least 10% of the time he was on the floor. Sorry. And we look at the bench. It's a little bit rough if you look at it, right? We got Mike Scott. He's an okay 3-and-D guy. We got Zaire Smith, who was doing really well in the summer league this year, but you never know. Hopefully we can get Kyle Korver. But the thing is, nobody cares about the bench in the playoffs. You play 7 guys max, 6 guys most of the time. So there might be a problem for winning games in the regular season, but I'm not that worried about that, because we didn't have a bench last year, and we were pretty close to get into these finals, and we upgraded our defense, and we got guys who can create their own shot. JJ Redick can create his own shot. Josh Richardson can create his own shot. But anyway, yeah, the Sixers to me are not a perfect team. We might have to win every game 70-50, but our defense is that good. So I think they just have the least amount of flaws. I think the major flaw is Ben Simmons' lack of a jump shot, and the fact that James Ennis will get minutes in the regular season. But other than that,
I don't. I gotta.
I think they're
severely
gonna
disagree
have a
with you, man.
really good first round.
That's good,
Yeah,
man. But I mean, you guys talked
They're
about
gonna
how
be the
Giannis
same
needed
thing.
that kick in the ass. What about
It's not Giannis, man.
the worst
At the end of the
ass
day,
imaginable?
like they don't have 3-point shoot. Like Jimmy Butler, man, was you can throw as many stats you want. He was your closer. He was your closer. He was a great defender.
Tobias Harris
You
is going
can't
to learn
say
how to be a. He was the closer in Detroit.
Tobias Harris is not going to be a Jimmy
Tobias
Butler
Harris
closer.
is not a closer.
He's not as good a closer as Jimmy Butler, but he can learn how to. Young man.
Okay, but you just said they're the best team in the NBA.
Yeah, every
That's
team in this league has
biased
flaws.
thing.
You give me a team with flaws.
They don't. The bench is rough. They can't shoot threes.
They can shoot threes.
So that's more.
That's a myth. That's a myth. Tobias Harris shot 40%. Al Horford shot
amazing
37%. I just told you Josh Richardson thought 39% on spot threes. Like that's
Horford,
3 guys hovering around 40%. Mike Scott shot 38%. That's 4 guys hovering around 40%. Where's
Al Horford is shooting that well because he's getting wide open threes because of Kyrie's getting double teamed.
And that won't happen with the 7'2", 300-pound man on the bottom. When Al Horford steps
no one's gonna double team no one's gonna double team Joel Embiid from the 3-point. Like Al Horford's not gonna be standing at the 3-point line.
Yeah,
getting wide
that's
open
what
threes.
stretch fours do.
No, he won't.
Yeah. Or what about all the fast breaks when Simmons takes the ball and goes down? Jimmy, what you sound like right now is someone who watched 7 games of Sixers basketball against the best team in the NBA and not much else.
Sound like right now I was a fan of the Sixers calling the best team in the league when they don't have a bench and they can't shoot the 3 ball. I'm
giving you facts about why we can shoot the 3, and you're telling me no. That's your answer. Your answer is a 2-letter word.
Your point guard can't shoot. Your shooting guard's an average shooter. Your small forward's an average shooter.
40%
is an average shooter, and your center's an average 3-point shooter.
I don't understand how 40% is an average shooting mark.
Mike, you're saying they're the best team in the league while saying that Tobias Harris is going to learn how to close. That doesn't make sense.
That's
basketball is more than 3 minutes at the end of the game, yeah?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
The most important.
Not if you're winning by 15, baby.
You're not going to be winning by 15 if you can't hit threes. And your point guard can't.
Gyms. Until you find, I'm giving you literal percent. I literally just told you Al Horford hit more threes on more attempts because you're better percentage than Jimmy Butler.
Butler and JJ Redick, man, hitting your 3. You're getting wide. He's not going to get the wide open shot.
Yes, he shot.
I think he'll get wide open shots.
Sorry?
I think he will get wide open shots, but my problem with the Sixers is I don't have faith that Ben Simmons is going to come back vastly improved, right? And the bottom line is that playoff defenses were taking on four-player game.
That's the whole. I don't disagree with you. He is the X factor, but I still think that they're the best team in the league without it because of how loaded they are on defense. I think that their offensive IQ is super high as well. Like we talk about smart guys, bro. Al Horford, Ben Simmons, Josh Richardson. These are all smart players, man.
How can you call them the best defensive team in the league without Jimmy Butler?
Because Al Horford is one of the best defensive players in the league. Joel Embiid is a perennial defensive player of the year candidate. Ben Simmons is an all defense caliber. Josh Richardson is all defense caliber. I don't understand how you can still look at 4 guys who are 4 of the better defenders in the league, top 30, top 20 defenders in the league, and who are also all huge. You do know the shortest starter on the Sixers is 6'6", right?
Milwaukee. Milwaukee's all huge except for blood, so it doesn't really matter.
That's a big difference, though. And Milwaukee doesn't have dynamic players. Brook Lopez shoots threes.
They have the MVP.
Right?
That's pretty dynamic.
He's obviously dynamic, but they don't have Eric Bledsoe. He's a worse version of Kyle Lowry.
But Ben Simmons can't shoot, so it doesn't matter. In the playoffs, it won't matter. Ben Simmons
is an elite passer. He's an elite defender. He's an elite rebounder. He can't shoot. That's the hole. I told you that was the hole.
But you can't be the best team in the league when your point guard can't shoot.
It's pathetic. But it doesn't stop them. Every team has flaws. There's not one team in the league this year that's Golden State. That's perfect.
I agree with you, but you can't call yourself the best team in the league and have as many flaws as the Sixers have.
But you can't call yourself the best team in the league and have, look at the Warriors.
Gun to your head right now. You're really going to call the Clippers. Gun to your head right now. You're really going to say the Clippers are not better defensively. The Sixers are better defensively than the Clippers, and they're a better team than the Clippers. With Kawhi and Paul George.
Sixers, I 100% believe the Sixers are better.
I honestly don't believe you, man. I think this is really bad.
Okay, so look at this. Let's look at this, okay? The Clippers have the best perimeter defense in the league. That's pretty obvious. They have Pat Beverly, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. They have no one inside. Their inside players are, who is it? It's Zubac, Harrell, and
you're acting like it's 1990s basketball. It's not everyone just driving to the paint. You need better perimeter defense than post defense now.
But when the other team's players go to the rim and they meet the rim protectors, that's the problem. When you talk about, it's not 1990s basketball.
Cole, I'm about to mute you.
The Bucks,
is it bad?
the team that you said, the Bucks that actually all three of you guys all said that they're the best team in the East, which I don't think is a dumb thing to say. But they lost because the other team was playing so-called 90s era basketball on paint. So that was 2019. So I don't see why having a good interior defense, having the best interior defense between Horford and Embiid isn't a huge deal. If anything, rim protectors are the most important now. Layups or threes. So half the shots, you need a rim protector to protect the rim from them.
At the end of the day, man, they can't shoot.
But can't be the best team in the league. I'm not going to respond to that because I've already shown
Jim,
you that's
not
true.
You can't say they can't shoot.
Like they can't shoot.
One of them can't shoot.
You can put as many stats as you want. It's going to be the same thing that happens.
I don't Jim, I'm not showing you win shares over 88 or like some crazy nerd stat. I'm showing you 3-point percentage. How many shots do you make out of how many shots do you take? It is standard way to track if someone is good at shooting or not good at shooting. If I hit 5 out of 10 threes and you hit 3 out of 10 threes, I am better at shooting than you. The Sixers have shooters that, compared to the league-wide average, are pretty high above average. They're not JJ Redick, but they're still pretty high above average. Tobias Harris is a 40% three-point shooter, and 40% is where you want to be if you're a shooter. And Horford and Richardson can knock it down. Mike Scott down.
Jim, who other than Ben Simmons are you saying can't shoot?
You can't say Al Horford is an amazing three-point shooter.
No one's saying he's an amazing three-point shooter, but he's pretty damn good.
You're blowing things out of proportion. If you cannot leave Al Horford wide open.
Third option three-point shooters when they have to all become more like number one options or closer to that. Who's going to be the number one option three-point shooter on that team?
Tobias Harris, who was the number one option.
Tobias Harris is a great three-point shooter.
Yeah, he's always been a great three-point. Like that was how he got into the league.
He wasn't the number one option three-point shooter last year for Philly. He was what, third?
He was number one for the Clippers, and they were pretty damn good. He was getting all-star.
Last year, Tobias Harris. Last year, what was it? Let's see. Let's look. Tobias Harris was a 39.7, so a 40% three-point shooter. Okay, and he attempted 5 a game, which is a lot. And he's now going to be getting more looks. Maybe it dips to 38%, but nobody shoots that volume of threes, especially ones off the dribble like he does. And unless their name is Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, and shoots 40% from 3. So I'm okay with that. Al Horford's a good shooter. I did not say he was Klay Thompson. I did not say he was Damian Lillard. I said you cannot leave him wide open, or he'll most likely hit a three-point shot. That's all you need. Same with Josh Richardson. Josh Richardson's efficiency was garbage last year because he was asked to be the best player on a team when he is clearly not built like that. He's not that good. You ask him to be a guy who occasionally gets to the rim, maybe pulls up for a mid-range shot, plays good defense, hits open threes. That's the role he was born to play.
Another question I have, though, is that if Al Horford is such a good post defender, why did he get bullied by Milwaukee?
Because Milwaukee has Giannis and the Celtics, unlike the Raptors, do not have a bunch of big centers that they can throw at them. Al Horford was their biggest guy, other than Aaron Baines. When you have a team like Toronto, and actually this year Philadelphia, with a bunch of huge guys, you can pack the paint against Giannis and make it really hard for him to get through. When your team is starting Jason Tatum, who's 6'7" and thin as hell, at the 4, of course Giannis is going to do whatever he wants with your team. You have no second line of defense.
No, man, I think Siakam took it to them too before he got hurt.
Dude, Al Horford's whole thing
and
is like
Kawhi.
shutting down big guys, like shutting down
He
Embiid.
didn't though.
His defensive IQ is nuts, man.
He played like
it's
one
crazy.
bad game against
That's
Embiid,
another
right?
thing.
And Giannis
Yeah,
isn't a
got-
center
they lost-
though. Giannis is mobile.
That's
Driving to the
another
hoop
thing
though.
Forget.
He was driving down low.
Do you understand that the guy who dominates Joel Embiid defensively, and by dominates, Embiid only scores 22 points. But the guy who guards Embiid best now gets to work with him every single day. Do you know what that's going to do to the Embiid's game? That the guy who knows every single thing that bothers him is practicing against him every single day.
But Embiid is is like the all-time professional too. The guy's still a freaking kid. Still acts like a kid.
He doesn't.
That's a whole different conversation, though.
And you know what, Jim? I'm going to have to hold Embiid because what Embiid said, and this brings me back to the first thing I said, is that shot. He said in that moment it changed the way I looked at the Embiid. He said I never want to feel like that again. He said he's going to try to fix it.
I'll believe it, but he hasn't.
No, and I agree
yet.
with you, but I think Embiid was a raw, dominant college player in the vein of a Clint Capella, Rudy Gobert. He was told by people he was going to be a bust because he didn't have any post moves. So he went out and got 6 post moves. The guy is a child, but when he wants something, he works really hard at getting it. That's what I can respect about him, even though he can be annoying sometimes. And I think, he's gotten better every year. So he's going to be better rested in the playoffs. I think this, because of Al, when he take a night off and us not turning into the Pistons, we're going to be a little bit. He'll be more rested for the playoffs, so that the last 2 years don't happen again. I think if I had to pick now, I see them winning. I wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers won. I definitely wouldn't be surprised if the Clippers won because they have the best player. I wouldn't be surprised if the Lakers won. They have the best duo. I wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors won. They have 4 All-Stars, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks won because they have shooters and Giannis. But if I had to bet right now, which I honestly might later, I'm picking the Sixers.
All right, that's a good conversation. Do we want to go through our top 10s one last time, just for clarity?
Cole, come off mute. Oh, he's off mute.
All right, just for clarity, I'm gonna go through my top 10.
All right, I'll do that too.
Clippers number 1, Warriors 2, Lakers 3, Milwaukee 4, Philly 5, Denver 6, and then I added Utah at 7, Boston 8, Houston 9, and then I couldn't decide between the Pacers and the Raptors for 10.
Okay, Cole, you want to go through those again?
I deleted mine.
Okay,
sick.
I think I had Boston, then Houston.
Go from 1 to 10. 1 to 10 is easier.
I'm just gonna do the way I had it in my Boston, Houston, Portland. Actually, Boston, Houston, Portland, Denver, Utah, Sixers, Golden State, Clippers, Milwaukee, Lakers.
All right, Jim.
Who was it? Clippers, Lakers,
This
Denver.
is from 1, yeah?
Yeah, 1 to 10. Clippers, Lakers, Denver, Milwaukee, Utah is 6, and then Utah was 6. Who was 7? Did I put? Fuck. Oh yeah, as Utah 6, Philly, Brooklyn, Boston, Portland.
All right, and then mine, I had on Spurs, Kings, and Raptors. I went Celtics 10, Rockets 9, Blazers 8, Nuggets 7, Jazz 6, Bucks 5, Lakers 4, Warriors 3, Clippers 2, Sixers 1. All right, so that pretty much about does it. I think that was fun. You guys have fun?
Did someone say it's time for hot takes?
Oh, it's time for hot takes. I forgot. All right, Jim, you haven't been on this before, and I'm pretty sure you never watched it. So, we do a hot take at the end of each thing, and they don't have to actually happen. It's more so just to say something stupid that you've been thinking about the whole time. Arden, would you like to start with your?
Well, first, as an example for Jim, my last hot take was that Curry is gonna die before the finals.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
My hot take this year.
I want to get a feel.
My hot take this year is that the Raptors are going to come in first behind the incredible play of Stanley Johnson.
80 points in the OVO charity game. Cool. Hot take, baby.
Chris Paul will average the most assists for the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA, and second will be LeBron James.
Wow, that's
Jim,
a lot of
babes.
dimensions to that.
Fire!
Give me a hot take, sweetie. Jim's.
But you go first.
Okay, my hot take is that by the year's end, actually, that's too serious. I was gonna say that the Knicks weren't gonna be the worst team, but that could actually happen, I think, because they have the best player of all time, RJ Barrett. But my dumb hot take is that De'Aaron Fox will win the MVP this year, and not only win the MVP. At the end of this year, he will be considered better than Michael Jordan because he said Kamehameha or however the fuck you say it, Cole, when he hit a 3 once, and it made me laugh. So he's my favorite player now.
Kamehameha. Jim knows all about the Kamehameha.
You ready, Jim?
Oh yeah. Oh, my hot take's not even that much of a hot take. It's probably gonna happen. I see LeBron tearing every ligament in both his knees, and then when he retires, he says that he's not a top 10 player of all time.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
So,
I hope it happens.
That's gonna be the end of this.
No.
That's gonna be the end of this.
I hope he's in the wheelchair like fucking Paul Pierce, but like he just doesn't have to go to the washroom.
Stop.
All right, that's gonna be the end of it, boys. Thanks for
player injury.
Me and Cole. Actually, I don't know if I am gonna play with these guys, but thanks for coming, Jim. You're always welcome here on our little
This is fun. Thanks for having me.
Hall of Mirrors. That is the High Low podcast. God bless Ben Simmons, baby.
It's a shame I don't edit these anymore because I could have taken like 30 minutes off of this one.
Why don't you just do it?
Because I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
It takes forever to edit. Like we're an hour and 50 minutes in right now.
And 50?
Yeah. We're almost at 2 hours.
That's a lot.
All right.
Honestly, it's like I don't think anyone listens to this. It's just an excuse for us to yell at each other about
We usually get 6 views.
It's all 6 are ends, bro.
Jim, are you excited to be on YouTube on a channel with 6 views average? Is Jim gone? Did Jim leave?
I'm right here. So I had a little bit of a stroke.
All right. Let's just...
You hit that Ethan Ty seizure?
Let's just stop it now. Everyone say
Cole,
bye. Thank you for
Rocket
listening.
League? Oh, you're playing Rocket League. You're trying to play twos?
Yeah. No, Artin, hop on.
All right. Thank you for listening. The podcast is not over yet. Everyone say bye.
Bye.
You guys.
Bye.